Hello, Internet, and welcome to RetroNick Relics, the retro video game show where I give you my 2-bit opinion on these 8 through 32-bit relics. Except for today, where I'll be reviewing Diarrhea. You see, it dawned on me that I've only been playing the best games on the best platform. And that can get a little bit, boring. So I went on a quest to find the worst game on an inferior platform, the Sega Mega Drive. Look, what can I say, man? The truth hurts. Anyway, I looked for the worst Mega Drive game, and I found this.
セガメガドライブの16ビットソフトシリーズが面白さ絶好調で続々登場。あのおそ松くんがゲームになって街は大騒ぎ。痛快爆笑おそ松くん。時代の先行くメガドライブ。
Osomatsu-kun,はちゃめちゃ劇場, or Osomatsu-kun Nonsense Theater, is a game for the Sega Mega Drive, or Sega Genesis as we like to call it here in God's country. And was the first game developed in-house by Sega for the platform. The game was based on the beloved 1960s manga Osomatsu-kun, which was enjoying a revival at the time thanks to a new anime series. So its video game debut on Sega's new hardware had a lot of hype behind it. However, a worldwide memory shortage forced Sega to reduce the game from a 4 megabit cartridge down to 2 megabits, which cut it down to just 3 repetitive stages. The game was received so badly that even the manga's creator Fujio Akatsuka reportedly threw an ashtray at one of the developers at Sega. Ow! Of course, this guy didn't have a favorable view of video games to begin with.
Here comes a new challenger!
Konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa Akatsuka Fujio desu, and this is how I talk. Kids in Japan, they shut themselves in their rooms and play while masturbating. They don't make any friends.
They can't make friends or get a girlfriend or anything!
That's all for now.
Sayonara! Now I know what you're thinking. What do a bunch of Japanese game reviewers, the creator of the source material, and the general public at large know? I bet this game has some redeeming qualities. Let's start with what I like. Blink and you'll miss it.
Hold on to your butts.
The graphics are uncharacteristically colorful for a Mega Drive game, an issue I always bring up when discussing this platform. And I like that they tied Osomatsu-kun's expression to his life bar to show off the bigger sprites afforded by the more powerful hardware. I also love all the weird Japanese humor and the other super expressive characters in the game. Oh yeah, look, that's it. I told you, blink and you'll miss it.
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls?
Remember when I said this game only had 3 stages? Well, the only way to progress is to guess the route by purposefully falling into pits, grabbing balloons, or randomly going into an endless series of identical huts by pressing up on the D-pad. But it's not just the huts. Everything looks the same, and none of it's flashy looking enough to warrant the upgrade from the 8-bit Master System.
You clinking, clanking, clattering collection of colliginous junk!
The lack of memory means a lack of variety, so it's impossible to tell where you're going without a guide. Also, despite having to find a specific unmarked path through exploration, you can't walk backwards. So you need to go all the way the wrong way before you're able to start over or respawn at another point to course correct.
8. That's up.
This is likely an attempt at artificially lengthening the game because they had to shrink it down so much.
I was in the pool!
And to all of you complaining about the yellow paint in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I defy you to find any identifiable landmark that you can use to navigate your way through this game.
Well, we're waiting.
Okay, man, look, forget common knowledge. It's common friggin' sense to have some kind of hint as to where you're going when you're navigating a game. Even the Schlockfest movie Virtuosity got that.
How did you know Sid 6.7 would be in the Japanese restaurant?
Colon, parenthesis. See the
programmer always gives you a clue. It's a game.
Osomatsu-kun himself controls sluggishly and floats like his adventure takes place on the moon. No, not that moon. That's actually fun. Like, way less fun than that. Enemies have similar floaty attack patterns, flinging projectiles that in some cases are basically invisible.
You know what? This is bull. This is bull.
Speaking of, let's talk about combat. You attack with a slingshot that has a ridiculously short range, and the feedback from hitting enemies is either difficult to read or basically non-existent. This damn ogre thing doesn't even flinch when I hit it. Yeah, maybe I'd have better luck if I was flinging Fujio's ashtray.
Ow!
Osomatsu-kun falls under a category of games known as kusoge, or crappy games. Many of them go on to gain cult status, and this one has to a certain extent, but the majority are just complained about in dusty old forums or forgotten YouTube channels.
Hey, wait a minute.
Let's talk about the bosses. They're forgettable. Moving on.
Damn!
I'm told if you know the route for the stages, you can beat this thing in about 10 minutes or less. There's no real challenge beyond being a maze with no in-game clues, so there's very little reason to keep playing until the end.
Stop! He's already dead.
So, what do I think? I wanted to defy the odds, and I wanted to love this game. The visuals remind me of a sloppier Kato-chan Ken-chan, and the humor seemed on point as well. But after playing it, I can tell you that's a rushed, tiny mess. It isn't without its charm, but it's still not great. I give Osomatsu-kun haちゃめちゃ劇場 4 deadly flying ashtrays out of 10.
Ow!
And a major shout out to my friends over at Retro Game Squad, where you can hear me babbling on from time to time about more unusually Japanese games. Please be sure to check out their website at retrogamesquad.com or check them out on Twitter at twitter.com/retrogamesquad. Also, be sure to check out friend of the show, youtube.com/Vito, to catch his live streams and original comedy bits like Pepsi for Peace or when he vaped Belle Delphine's bathwater at youtube.com/Vito. You can also listen to the Biggest Problem in the Universe podcast at biggestproblem.show. Thank you all so much for tuning in to RetroNick Relics. That's all for today, but please be sure to tune in and find out what I dig up next by liking this video and subscribing to see what comes up next time. I'm RetroNick.
And you'd be too if you were me.